Yes, ma'am.
So Martin Luther King,
Yes.
and I know what I've been taught he fought for, but what truly was Martin Luther King fighting for? Was it Lincoln's ideas?
Yes.
Or-
Yes.
Yeah, so can
Well,
you
see-
explain how that turned so?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So you are familiar with the Ku Klux Klan, right? And you know who created the Klan. Yes? Yes. Do you know what one of their major issues was? That they didn't want chattel slaves or the descendants of chattel slaves or freed men to vote. Okay? So I don't know if you realize this, but there was only 11 years of Reconstruction in history. 11 years. Now, 11 years does not change the hearts of men, and we also know that laws don't change the hearts of men, mankind. Okay? So here we sit where we have the Republicans championing what was going on as far as abolition was concerned, right? And the freeing of the slaves, and of course, President Lincoln died because of it. Slavery was about this. Does everybody understand that? It's about, everything is about it. So really, we haven't changed much, have we? We haven't changed. So President Lincoln and a few others in history before him were messing with people's money, and like that. Okay. So you have to understand that slavery and what we hear of racism today, this is not about skin color. It really isn't. It's because you could be blacker than black and come over from Africa and come through the front door and be naturalized as a citizen. But if you are a descendant of chattel slaves, there's the problem. Do you understand? But you can't assimilate easily when your skin is dark. Skin color became the identifying factor. But it was never really about skin color. It was about being in servitude to someone else. It was just wrong. And it's not going to work in a country where you invoke the name of God in your Constitution. That's why it had to change. Otherwise, we'd just be England 2.0. Right. So the Reconstruction lasted about 11 years. And this was, after slavery was abolished, because it was so difficult, because it had become, it was an institution. It was 245 years old, like America in apple pie. So in order to stop that, it doesn't just stop all of a sudden because the law says so. Because we have hearts involved here. We have habits here. We have lies that people have had to tell themselves in order to make it okay, in order for slavery to exist in America. Because I don't think that there's a free person on the face of the planet that actually really believes that slavery was right. So what kind of tricks do you have to play on yourself in order to make it okay on a daily basis? It's impacting us today as well. But what happened was, in 1877, there was a compromise that was made. And that compromise involved the freed slaves. And that was actually the inception of Jim Crow laws and all of that stuff, separate but equal and all of that stuff. See, what had happened was, slaves were sold into slavery by their brothers in Africa. So long, they just kill that lie. Like, white folks came and kidnapped us from Africa because we were so happy. No, that is not what happened. The Europeans went over to Africa. They were looking for textiles and stuff like that, right? And it was the other Africans that offered Amistad. You know what I'm saying? And Kunta Kinte, It was them. It was their brothers that sold them into slavery. Sounds like the story of Joseph, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And sold them into slavery. And mind you, things were not all happy and well and good going on in Africa. There was a whole lot of fighting there. Can you imagine what kind of fighting was going on there in order for brother to enslave brother? So they sold each other off. And West Africa has a whole thing. There's a whole apology and all this other stuff that goes on. That goes with that. But anyway, so they're on a ship. They're chained to each other. They are bound together by their oppression, but they don't like each other. Okay, so once they were freed, that stuff was never resolved. So now the damsel in distress has been rescued. Was she crazy? Okay. And people did not know the Republicans have rescued the damsel in distress, but now they don't know what to do. Well, you're free now. You're free. Go. Fly. Be free. And it's just like, yeah, well, we don't know what to do. 245 years we've been like this. I was a slave, my mama was a slave, grandma was a slave, everybody was a slave, and now I'm free to do what? To go back to what I was doing before? Okay. Knocking heads and, you know, all that. Okay, so there is that. So what happened was the Democrats and the Republicans came to an agreement. And the Democrats were like, look, we know them, they know us, they trust us, let us handle this. That's it. It's as simple as that. It's the same simple stuff that we do in this day and age. You know, well, you know how to make that work? Well, let's compromise. Let's work this out. And so the fate of the slaves were back, or the freed slaves, the fate was back in the hands of the Democrats, the slave owners. Okay? And we won't even talk about how conservatism became a Republican thing, and conservatism means that you're racist and all that other stuff. Because originally the conservatives were the Christian Democrats in the South. So what I'm saying, and I don't want to get off, I've probably gotten completely off the reservation already, but what I'm saying is that's how that happened. Yeah, that's how that happened. But all of these things you don't have to take my word for. Read your history. There it is.
Why do they bury it? Why, who wants it buried?
Who wants it buried?
Yeah, because I mean, they don't want to teach this in school, they don't want to teach, so who wants it all buried to where we have this whole false narrative now?
Those who would rather us be a nation or a socialist nation. Yeah. Those who would rather have control of the nation and they want it to go the way they want it to go. It has nothing to do with the laws of nature, and that's why they try to usher God in the back door as well, because nature's God says that we should all have life, liberty, and to be able to pursue happiness. And that is commensurate with our gifts, our talents, our characteristics, all of that stuff. We should be able to pursue our own happiness. It's not for someone else to determine. Yes, ma'am.
I just feel like ignorance is power. When your people are ignorant,
That's right. That's right.
there is so much power. Like when
Power
you
to the other,
to the people who are not so ignorant.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's so much power. When you think about when you go to history when only the priests could read the Bible.
right.
I mean, imagine they could tell you that God said rub their feet and lick them too, and you would do it because you thought God told you to.
Yeah.
You know, and ignorance is power, and I feel like power for the people who aren't ignorant.
Yeah.
Really. Because I feel, for me, I say yeah, I'm racist because every time I look up, Republicans can only be white. Last time I checked, I am definitely a registered Republican.
Yeah.
I am definitely not white. But you get these things, you get these people who just come and they say, or I'm constantly attacked because, hey, you speak like a white person. No, I speak proper English.
Yeah. I get it.
I don't speak like a white person. We shouldn't give people that much power.
Right. I agree.
I just think it's crazy that
that's exactly what we've done.
Ignorance is power for the people who are not ignorant.
Yes, ma'am.
Is nobody here open?
No.
No? No?
We're representing everybody up here.
Yeah, okay, well, and as the question that you were asking, why is it hidden? I gave a talk when I was first a convert in our church, which means you were a and I spoke, and there was two general authorities there who are people that are certain level of leadership in our church. And I spoke on Joseph Smith, who's a prophet in our church, as far as him being a civil rights leader as a new member. And I wasn't originally going to speak as a new member on that subject, and you can imagine the silence in the room when I went there. But it came to me when I was up there, and I just had to, because when I first got introduced to the church, I had heard all the lies. I had heard all the racist things concerning our church. And I wanted to find the truth for myself. And why things are hidden, it's not really hidden, but you have to go search for it yourself. And that's
It's
what I
hidden in
did.
plain sight.
Exactly. It's actually in plain sight. Like the truth about Joseph Smith being an abolitionist, according to them, the truth about how much him dying was wrapped up in civil rights, it's there, but it's something that's not discussed. And I asked the two general authorities after I gave this talk on why I fell in love with Joseph Smith, the civil rights leader. Why isn't the Ku Klux Klan brought up? Why isn't it talked more within the church about how much his life was in danger once he ran for president under an anti-slavery bill? That's in Missouri, the states that the great debates were going on at that time. It's all there for us to read. If we line up what went on in history and what this country was going through over civil rights with when Joseph Smith was running for president, you'll see that his life was in danger. You'll see in the second movie, this is not from me, but when I became a new member, they told me to look at this and read these books called Working Glory. Does anyone hear about Working Glory? Well, it's right there on the second CD. In the second CD, it says, he's messing with our slave trade. He has to go. On the CD. So I rewinded. I said, whoa, what did that say? You're kidding me. Why isn't this discussed? Because this is a big thing as far as the struggle we went through as far as death. So, yes, it's right there. But we got to seek it out. We got to look for it, match up the dates. We have to question. And what the general authority said was with time it will come out and it is coming out. And it is coming out. People like Robin talking about these things with us getting curious and saying, let's see what, it's there.
The
We just gotta
religious
dig.
leaders of all faith are, that have condoned it years back, I've been reading about too, is that they were all threatened with death too. Of all different faiths for supporting a black person.
What I want to know what's going on now. Why is racism becoming? I feel like we've gone backwards at incredible rates just over maybe the last 10 years.
One thing that I can say about those who don't want this to be a free nation, and about those for whom liberty must be just for special people, is that they're very organized, and this has gone on since the inception of the nation, because there had to be a reason why the country had to go to war with itself, because it's two completely different schools of thought. It's division. It is division. It is the ultimate division, because if this country cannot stand, especially as a paragon of freedom and liberty to the rest of the world, it does impact the rest of the world. So as long as we're divided, as long as we don't know who we are, as long as all this stuff, we don't know.
Mass confusion.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. And is that not what we have always learned? Right? United we stand, divided we fall. That's not just some, trite saying. It's the absolute truth. When we don't recognize the family that we are, when we don't recognize the brothers and sisters that we are, when we don't unite, that's why it's time to turn back to God. Sorry, I know it's uncomfortable for a lot of people to hear. Don't care. It's time to turn back to do it His way, because His way works. He lost 740,000 babies. For what? So they could have died in vain? I wouldn't be happy. I don't like it when my babies don't drive the speed limit. But to lose 740,000 over the matter of equality, and to still not have equality in this day and age, and to be divided along ideals that make absolutely no sense and have no eternal significance whatsoever. Let's just face it, there are some people, in order to have control, they like to keep stuff stirred up. And if we ain't stirred up right now, I don't know what stirred up is. Okay, so as warriors for the cause of liberty, we have a sword and we have a shield. Our sword is the Constitution. Your shield for this moral cause is the 14th Amendment. That is your black shield. That will be your shield. See, a funny thing happened on the way to 2017. And it's that in spite of all of the rhetoric and all of the nonsense that you hear being spewed out there, all the name calling, all of the confusion, the cacophony of voices and ideals and all this other stuff, time still marched on. And as time marched on, people were born. And as people were born, they learned things like, how to read and to understand their history. And they feel called. Their entire lives they've been prepared to come and serve this nation at such a time as this. And that's not just for some of us, it's for all of us. And once we get a hold of truth, truth needs no explanation. Truth doesn't need to defend itself. Truth is what it is. And it's truths like this that have been hidden in plain sight the entire time that we are just now being able to see, because there's a light that's coming through the cracks. Okay? It's that light that brought you all here together tonight. That brought us all here. In a perfect world, it'd be a movement of all people. I just had a flashback to Eddie Murphy when he did the whole Jesse Jackson thing. You know, don't let me down. Don't let me stop. You're built to fish, and you know, it's just crazy. But anyway, well, we finally but when we finally realize who we are and whose we are, and we stop believing the narrative that there are people in this country who are inferior because of some immutable characteristic, whether it's their gender or the color of their skin, we really get down to what really, really matters, and when we really put people over politics, then that's when change can occur. Okay?
Amen.
No, girl, you know I got the PTSD. Don't be doing that.
You know I got to practice sometimes.
Where's Robin? She's on the floor. Okay.
Good thing I'm respiratory therapist.
I got you back. All right. So, I don't mean to end so abruptly or informally, but I just wanted to kind of whet your appetite and to give you some food for thought. And when you know stuff like this, you can understand what I mean when I say that America's best days are ahead. We have an amazing foundation. We just have some unfinished business that we have to get done. You know? And it's not the time for uninvited company, huh?